Hello friends, Chris Slight here from XSplit. We were at EVO 2019, the biggest fighting tournament in the world, and we were running the community stream. Speaking of streaming, not only are the best fighting game players in the world here, but the best fighting game streamers in the world are here. See where I'm going with this. We spoke to them, we found out what they're doing, what they've been doing, where they're going, what they thought about EVO, what they think of the future, everything. So let's find out what they're doing.
I started live streaming kind of for fun, like just kind of as a gimmick, just something that I wanted to do. And I saw a lot of people around me that I also wanted to live stream, so that was a part of what encouraged me to do it.
I started personally trying to stream back when I was in college. I was actually really into StarCraft at the time. And so I tried using FMLE and VH Screen Cap, and it did not go very well. My laptop was not powerful enough, despite being a gaming laptop. 460 mobile, pretty cool at the time. And then I kind of gave up for a little while until I started streaming Smash locally in San Francisco at the Foundry. And then from there, it's just been more streaming.
Why did I start my stream? I used to do Call of Duty videos back in 2009-ish. And I made Call of Duty montages as well as emblem making videos. You can still find them. They're very shitty, real bad. And they actually have a lot of views. I think my emblem ones have like 50,000 views each or something. And I just thought it was a good idea to make videos. So when Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out, I was doing pretty okay in ranked matches because I played Taskmaster and I just did I See You a bunch in the air, and it basically beat every Sentinel. And Sentinel was very prolific at the time in vanilla. And I just started streaming, and then people just started watching because I figured out how to basically rig Shoryuken.com's front page into showing my broadcast as #1 every single time. So whenever someone went to Shoryuken front page, it was my stream, like dumb title, and people just started eventually going in.
Oh boy. First official streamer gear, I think I bought an LGP and like a C920 and I guess a mixer too. That's all I really remember. I guess probably the most official stuff would be like a BPHS-1 Audio-Technica headset, which a lot of people still use today, but those are the first few items that I think were like official streamer equipment.
The first big thing that I bought for my stream, man, it's been so long that's actually a hard one to remember. I want to say that it probably started getting expensive right around when I needed to buy real cameras and not web cameras anymore. I guess I put a lot of money into the Sennheiser headsets that I use a lot. And, I guess people think more about like cameras, things like that. A lot of the guys just use the regular Audio-Technica headset. I really love the Sennheiser headset. One thing that I love about it is that it doesn't cover as much of the person's face. So it's not just about the sound quality of it, it's also about the look. It's much better than the Audio-Technica headsets.
Most expensive thing that I've bought, nothing. C920 webcam, technically, because I don't really purchase that much equipment. I have a Behringer 502, I guess, the really shitty cheap mixer, but yeah, I don't really purchase much things. My tripod is literally a box that I get from Amazon, and then I eventually throw it away and just get another box.
How do you deal with things that come up during streaming? Yeah, I guess I just go to what I have available to me at the time and just try and piece together something that will work, and if not, what can I fall back on that will be a good experience for a decent experience for people who are watching, or even just for myself, and just make the idea is just make it work, and maybe it doesn't have to be done in like the most ideal way, but if it works, it works, right? So yeah.
I internally panic for a few moments, and then I kind of think about it for a little bit while I'm panicking. Take a deep breath, and then just kind of trace what's wrong. If it's an internet issue, start running internet diagnostics. If it's a video issue, start tracing your video lines, converters, cables, capture cards. If it's an audio issue, start thinking about what could possibly be wrong with all of your audio equipment. Maybe XLR cables are dying, maybe the way that audio is getting to your computer is all messed up. You don't know. So just diagnose it one step at a time and until you find the problem.
The thing to keep in mind is that there's kind of like two elements to what can go wrong. There's the hardware element, and then there's the people element, and you have to really treat both differently, right? So with the hardware element, what it really comes down to is that fast troubleshooting is a skill that's gained with experience. And some people are better at it than others, but what it comes down to is that you have to be as fast as possible at troubleshooting. And you have to really just be quick at determining the cause of what's wrong. If you know your sound is issued, then you gotta check all your sound stuff. Don't waste your time with your video and everything else. 9 times out of 10, it's probably related to something you're doing with sound. Same thing with video and everything else. You really have to have a goal. And one important thing, right, this is the thing I see people do a lot, is that it's really important to not freeze up or try the same thing over and over. If you freeze up, you're just gonna make things take longer. If you try the same thing over and over that you know is not working, you're also gonna make things take longer. So it's really important to really recognize when a solution is not working and try to move on to the next solution quickly. All right, so there's an old meme, and the meme is called Call Spooky. And what the meme is basically about, it's not as popular nowadays, but it's still around every now and then. The idea behind the meme is that the Spooky stream was considered the most stable for a long period of time amongst all the FGC streams and even amongst many Twitch streams. So whenever someone else's broadcast would go down, completely unrelated to me, nothing to do with me, people literally yell in the chat, "Call Spooky," as if I was like the guy that magically would fix their stream. That being said, I will kind of debunk this one a little bit. It's not that my streams never mess up or anything like that. I think if anything, I'm more well known for informing people when something goes wrong on the broadcast.
What kind of stuff do I miss? Old streams, right? You could get away with pretty much anything because no who's watching, right? Who really cares? And you could just play whatever you want on the stream, or like you can bring up this meme or whatever, and it'd be funny, everyone will laugh or whatever. But these days, with sponsors and stuff, it's really difficult to be able to do that and just have fun with your stream. Not that it isn't fun to stream, it's just you can't with that many eyes on you, you can't really do that kind of thing anymore.
What I miss? When I messed up a stream, no one cared because I would just be like, "Hey, we'll be right back." No problem. I also, there were a few times where I had to stream in like 576p. Man, everyone was so grateful that the stream was up. Nowadays, you'll see Twitch chat complain a little.
And I'll say that I did those older streams by myself and I didn't mind doing them or anything like that. It's not like I considered it difficult, but it wasn't like I did it because I wanted to do it that way. It's more like, I guess that's kind of like a New York way, right? Like everybody's kind of like running solo and flying solo. And even though Team Spooky's a crew, right? It's like Art flies solo when he runs his stream. I fly solo when I do my thing, and things like that, right? Versus with the 10-0 events, working as a crew is just much cooler. It's more fun. I like depending on other people for things, you know what I mean? I trust most guys with especially the basic tasks, like, "Hey man, can you go get us some fucking water, bro? We need some real bad." You can trust anybody with that type of job, right? And it's helpful, right? And I mean, and the 10-0 guys, they're all generally pretty smart. In fact, I consider a lot of the broadcasters to be better broadcasters than I am, even some of the guys. So knowing that, I think that's the way to go. You really want to have other people around you and you want to work with them better, and everybody improves their technique as they go. It's really the best working with others. I love it. If anything, the only thing I dislike about it is I hate to let others down. So, if I feel like I'm not doing my best and it's making other people around me suffer, that never feels good.
So I technically actually did start off as a one-man band. I was doing a bunch of local stuff, one man, well, with the TO. So it was like a 2-person band. Those are good Foundry days. But nowadays, crews run, I guess, 5 to 6 people deep. We have a producer. He makes sure that everything's on schedule. He just kind of is the buffer between the tournament and either the developer and us. We have a director, which I'm usually in the spot of. We are in charge of making sure setup is good, as well as day of. I'm actually video switching, running the audio board, and making calls. We have an assistant director. They usually are in charge of running videos, making sure that they feed me information of who's coming up next, as well as, choosing your favorite jams during our downtime. We also have a cameraman. He's the one just manning the camera all the time, making sure that when your favorite player pops off, gets them in frame. And then we also have a stage manager, and they are kind of the curator of all the matches. They will interface with the bracket runners of the actual tournament, try to pull as many of the good matches as they can, and bring them on stage. And they also just enforce all the Pro Tour rules and all that good stuff.
So this question is, what makes an FGC stream good versus what makes an FGC stream bad, right? And really, it all just comes down to the same thing. It's just about whether or not people are paying attention and just explain to people what's going on, okay? The worst type of stream is when I come in and, you know, who's playing? Well, we don't know. Where's the bracket? Well, we don't know. You know, what's the score? You know, it has like 3 for one guy in the first to 2 match or something like that. The other guy has 0. The names are backwards or something like that. Just can't tell what's going on. Those types of broadcasts really frustrate me, right? Because it's like you have to just like gather all the information yourself, and then you can try to provide the information to others, right? But sometimes in a big stream, right, it's just a madhouse in there. So it's just like, if nobody's giving me information, it's crazy. I guess that's the biggest one for me, is like a stream where the right information is not accessible. It's just like, it's so tough to watch. You just can't tell what's going on.
I guess just dry commentary. It's the hardest to watch, because like even if the matches are good, sometimes it's hard. It's just hard to watch, right? And on the other hand, good commentary can make even bad matches watchable.
The biggest cost is probably the amount of time you'll sink into it to master streaming. You'll end up doing hours of research online trying to figure out, hey, how does this work? And then if you're trying to make overlays on your own, you'll spend hours trying to code stuff and trying to figure out how that happens. And then you might end up hours in developing, trying to figure out your signal flow. Hey, I have like this camera, how do I get this into my machine properly? And you'll spend a lot of hours looking into upgrades, and that's a cost, that's a money sink. You'll be like, oh, I want that camera, but in order to get that camera to work, I need to buy new capture cards. Suddenly, you're spending $5,000.
Let's see, what else is a cost that people don't necessarily associate it. Refurbishing and replacing stuff all the time. You know, cabling fails, especially if you don't know how to wrap cables. Please learn how to over-under, because you're gonna replace the cables if you don't. That one's big, actually, cables all the time. Perhaps if you're starting to get to the level where you have $10,000 or more of equipment that you're traveling with, you may want to strongly consider insurance, because actually it has saved my ass a couple of times.
Just making sure you have your gear, the right gear with you at the time, because otherwise you have to go shopping or whatever, right? That's one cost that can come up. A restreaming service like restream.io, and you suddenly find out maybe, oh, you need to restream to a few more channels than you needed to, and suddenly, okay, I have to buy, you know, more channels to restream. Or there's a lot of things that can add up behind the scenes.
Do this as a hobby first, have a career first. But if you find yourself kind of going down the path of a streamer and you're getting, I don't know, more gigs, you're growing your channel, and you think you might be able to do this financially, I don't know, maybe go for it, but it's pretty rough. It's like a combination of luck and hard work.
Get ready for a lot of blowups. But on the other hand, on the plus side, there's a lot of information out there now if you want to stream. And there's a lot of resources, a lot of programs out there that will help you get started. Just be aware that there's a lot to take in, and I mean, I would say take it slow and have fun with it, because otherwise it's actually not that fun. Yeah.
What did I used to do? I was very annoying. I was always everywhere. I watched every stream. I made sure I was in every chat. People knew who I was from chat, and I was just constantly putting myself out there. I didn't even have a Twitter for like a year on my first stream, when I first started streaming. So like even then, like I was still getting views just because I was marketing myself via these guerrilla tactics. What do I think people are doing wrong nowadays? They're boring. A lot of people are boring on Twitter. A lot of people just post like not even good content, like, hey, what do you guys think about this, XYZ? Instead of just going like, hey, I fucking love pixie sticks or something, or, you know, I want to hear about that. Or how you want to get railed by Cody or something. Give me some interesting content.
All right, so this question is about if there are any new or interesting ways that you can approach pushing fighting game content. And I think that yes, there is. I think that in fact, okay, as much as I hate to say this, it makes me sad a little bit. I think that there's slowly, outside the larger events like Evolution, there's slowly a trend where people are moving away, in fact, from watching tournament footage, and they're caring more and more about watching the individual people that are involved with the tournaments. And it's not at the same level as you see in other esports yet, right? But you can see it little by little. If you watch Smash Brothers, you watch Mango and Zero getting more viewers than the Smash Brothers tournaments that have 100 people at them at the same time as them. And in Street Fighter, it's not quite there yet, right? Like CPT is still much bigger than the individual streams. But you know, every now and then I watch those Street Fighter streams, and Street Fighter 5 is not everyone's favorite, but those streams are doing quite good, all things considered. I watch K-Brad stream, he does okay. Jay Wong, whenever he streams, doing pretty good. Some of the other guys. So I think that if you're looking for a new path for FGC streams, that again, the same thing, the human element, I think that I want to see more stuff like following players around, the life of such and such player, you know, and really mixing in the IRL element. I want to see this guy be at home training and then throw on his IRL backpack. Okay, bro, we're going to the tournament, you know what I mean? And then he records his own matches and he gets his ass kicked and he goes back home and he cries about it a little bit, and you know what? The next day, he's going to the next tournament, he's training for the next thing or whatever else he wants to do. I think that path, like we're kind of on that path, we're almost there. So I think if you want to innovate, that's where you want to look at right now.
So thank you very much to all the streamers that took part in this video. If you want to find out more about any of the people you saw in this video, you can follow them. There's going to be links somewhere. Like people point nowadays, but it's always moving. I don't know. If you want to find out more about doing your own fighting game tournaments, well, we just happen to be experts in that whole situation. So check out all the playlists, all the how-tos we've got going on here, right on the XSplit YouTube channel. We'll see you next year at the next Evo. Evo's just going to get bigger. It's going to get crazier. And we're going to be there. See you soon.